In the last lecture, we looked at how to explain 5G in simple words. In this video, we are going to look at two types of 5G, standalone and non-standalone. If you look at any 4G network today, you have the 4G access network connected to the 4G core or the EPC. This can be simply shown as this motorbike in the picture. The initial 5G networks which we have today only have the 5G access part or the 5G new radio connected to the 4G core or EPC. This is known as the non-standalone 5G network. All the 5G networks you see today are non-standalone 5G networks, no exceptions. Then you have the standalone 5G networks, like the standalone 4G networks. Here, the 5G new radio is connected to the 5G core. In future, there will also be non-standalone 5G where the 5G new radio is the master and the LTE base station would be the secondary node. So these are the different 5G deployment options with the proposed migration strategy at the bottom. I wouldn't worry too much about the migration strategy right now as nobody is sure how it will work out and which path is going to be better. So as mentioned, option 1 is what we have as 4G today. The reason it is shown is so that we can compare the others based on what 4G deployments we have today. This is the non-standalone 5G networks that are deployed today. As I said, there are absolutely no exceptions. Every 5G network deployed today is a non-standalone 5G network. This is also known as option 3 and the technical name is ENDC, which stands for E-Ultra New Radio Dual Connectivity. Option 2 is the standalone 5G and this is next in line for release. It requires 3GPP Release 16 standards which are due to be available later this year. Then there are all these other options 4, 5 and 7, but we won't be seeing them anytime soon or at all. So we are not sure right now if they will be needed or they won't be needed. So that was a quick summary of standalone and non-standalone 5G. Next, we will look at 3GPP roadmap and the standards timeline.